No, I hate that. How's it going, Robert?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. We're glad to hear from you. And I see that now everything's up and at it. So we won't waste your time and we'll go ahead and get started. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. So Shadid and I were just talking about how you guys are going to be traveling to Xanderthon 5. Give me your expectations for how you think the event's going to go.
I think it's gonna go pretty well. It's always fun when we play each other in the Midway Conference because there's so few teams out here that we have a really strong camaraderie. And even though we're playing against each other and it gets really competitive in game, as soon as the game's over, everyone's friends, everyone's buds again.
Absolutely. What do you think it's going to take for you guys to be able to pull off a win against Wisconsin Platteville this time? Because last time you guys played, it was a 2-1 overtime game. So what do you think it's going to take to get over the hump this time?
I think our big issue so far has been just endurance and stamina. We usually
Hmm.
start off strong, gaining 1 or 2 points on them in the first half, and then we kind of teetered off in the second half the last few times we played them. But we've been
Hmm.
working on that, and I expect we're going to do better this time around, and we're going to keep up the energy.
Gotcha, man. You guys also get a chance to play against Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Any expectations for that match as well?
Um, they came into the last tournament that UWP hosted back in November a bit inexperienced. I can't remember if it was them or DePaul who have been practicing mostly with foam balls, but
Mhm.
I think they're going to have improved quite a bit in the months since then, and I'm really excited to play them again and see how much they've grown.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So Nebraska is one of the teams that's they're a little bit further out there, at least geographically, versus some of the other NCDA teams. So we don't always get a chance to hear about them. I kind of want to hear from your perspective. Like, talk about some of the challenges that you guys face from being like a program that, in your own words, like you just said, kind of doesn't have as many teams to play against super often, and how you guys are able to grow such a large membership despite that.
Well, what you said, we are geographically very far out there. Our closest team in the NCDA is Wisconsin Platteville. That's about 6.5 hours away from us.
Hmm.
Um, and then next closest after that would be the Chicago schools. And really, that's the biggest challenge for us. We have lots of people here at the university who love dodgeball, who like playing it, but we can't go to tournaments every other weekend just because of money factors and how far away teams are.
Yeah. Let me ask you, as NCDA president to Nebraska dodgeball president, which schools would you like to most see join the NCDA nearest you?
Oh, I'd love to see some schools in Iowa or maybe Kansas come join. Try to bridge
Hmm.
that gap between us and the rest of the NCDA schools quite a bit. That'd be pretty
Hmm.
fun.
Any particular schools off the top of your head, or just general area?
Probably that general area. I know Kansas State and Iowa State are pretty good sized universities, so they'd be able to maintain a full roster just from
Hmm.
the sheer number of freshmen they get each year.
Yeah, Kansas State actually did used to have an NCDA team back in the day. I can't remember what year it was that they ended up folding, but they did have a team for a decent bit of time, and then I think it was Western. It was either Western Illinois or Western Iowa. It was one of the two. I know his acronym was WIU. But one of them had a team as well. But it can be a little bit hard, sustainability wise. Talk to me a little bit about some of the players that you're expecting to stand out for your team going into this weekend.
I'm expecting our president from last year, John Hebner, to stand out a lot. He's got a
Hmm.
great arm. He's great at catching. He's just one of those all-around strong players, and he's a good leader on the court. As far as rookies go, we have a freshman this year named Colby who has a killer arm. It's a cannon, and as long
Hmm.
as he can keep it low so it's not caught, he'll do really well at the tournament too.
Awesome. Um, One of the other things that I've always thought that was really impressive about Nebraska's program is you guys actually have like one of the largest female memberships in the entire NCDA. Can you talk a little bit about like anything that you guys do as far as being able to get more female members, or what the deal is there, and why you're so successful?
I really have to hand that to our treasurer currently, Gwen Johnson.
Hmm.
Gwendolyn has really done a great job recruiting female players over the last 3 years. She and her friend Ailish have been on the team for this whole time, and they've probably brought in at least 7 to 10 female players over that 3 years. We have had some quit, but we still have a pretty strong showing on our team.
Yeah, and in one of those, Jessica Blum, I know last year she made all Midway team,
Mhm.
which I don't know if we ever like fact checked it, but she might have been the first female player ever to make like an all regional team. So that was something that was really impressive too. Is she going to be at the event as well?
Unfortunately, her ACL blew
Oh,
out back
mm,
in September, so
okay.
she hasn't been able to play all year. That was a really big blow for our program. She was our captain, and as you mentioned, a really strong player too. And it's kind of sucked, but there's not much you can do about an injury like that.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate to hear. Um, just to kind of pick your brain a little bit more and whatnot. What teams would you be most interested in playing against in the NCDA, if you have any?
Um, I've never really thought about it. I think it would be fun to play some of the southern schools because they're
Hmm.
also a bit geographically farther out there. And then I
Yeah,
know at Nationals 2 years ago, our first time going, we got to play Michigan State. And I'd love to play some of the Michigan, Ohio schools again because they're really fun to play against.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys play like when you host tournaments, you guys play at the same stadium that your basketball team plays at, right?
The old stadium. They've since built a
Okay.
new one, but we're playing at the old stadium. It's called the Coliseum, so it still has the bleacher seating and everything. It's a lot
Hmm.
of fun to play dodgeball in there.
Yeah, for sure. I get a chance to see it on the live stream sometimes whenever Eric has gone down there and like filmed and whatnot for games, and it's a really cool setup that you guys have out there. So, and actually, Shadid is planning on trying to go there at some point next year to film one of you guys' events, if you'll so graciously have
Awesome.
him.
Yeah, we'd love to have anyone come down and visit us.
I don't know if it's really down for us from Virginia. I think we're on like the same latitude line, so it's more just directly
Mm.
west of for us. But I'm just teasing you, man.
Geography is not my strong suit.
No, it's okay, man. It's all good. Um, so kind of getting your perspective on like your team style of play and strategy and whatnot. Would you say that you guys more of like a power arm type of gameplay? Do you focus more on catching? Talk a little bit about like some of the strategy that you guys implement as a team.
Uh, we've definitely learned a lot from who we've played. Playing Wisconsin every year, both of our teams have very strong defensive strategies. That's why when we're so closely matched, we went 2-2 and then went to overtime.
Hmm.
Um, we like to control ball control, get the back and forth going, draw out whoever's going to be their thrower, and then hit them with the cross, and just take it slow and steady and play defensively has been our strategy so far.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. All right. Last question for you before I let you go. All right.
Alrighty.
If you were to be able to travel to any other school in the country and play, what school would it be and why? I know we talked a little bit about teams you wanted to play, but what locations in particular would you want to go to?
Any other place? Um, I would love to get out to the West Coast. I think Oregon has some schools in the NCDA, if I'm not wrong,
They have
and that
Gonzaga
would be
University and Oregon State University.
yeah, that's where I would pick because that's just very unfeasible currently. But if it were magically possible, I would want to go out there.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Rob. Good talking to you. Thanks for giving us your perspective on Nebraska.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.